Nobody expected the Las Vegas Raiders to rip apart their entire identity in one offseason and build something this bold. The franchise that looked lost just a year ago is now running headfirst into a new era with Pete Carroll steering the culture, John Spytek controlling the chessboard, and Chip Kelly drawing up a playbook meant to break every rule the old Raiders lived by. They didn't just shuffle names, they set fire to a stale blueprint and replaced it with fresh blood, big personalities, and a head coach who refuses to let this team sleepwalk through another wasted year. And right at the center of that gamble stands Geno Smith, a quarterback who could either lift this team out of the shadows or watch the entire house of cards collapse on live television. The shocking part is how fast this transformation happened, leaving fans wondering if this is a real turnaround or just another short-lived hype train. Geno isn't alone in this. He's flanked by hungry new faces and a new scheme that promises fireworks, but you can feel there's more pressure on him than anyone else in silver and black. Every snap this season will be a referendum on the Raiders' gamble. Did they make the right moves in the trenches, or did they forget the foundation while chasing a shiny new dream? The clock is already ticking, because Raider Nation is sick of waiting for next year, and this year is their chance to prove something to the entire league. But here's the twist, because while the Raiders might have reloaded the weapons, nobody is talking about whether they actually fixed the trigger finger. The offense looks ready to explode with raw talent and fresh coaching, but can it really deliver in the moments that matter? Geno Smith has the arm, the leadership, the swagger, but a lot of scars too. Up next, I'm diving into exactly how the Raiders built this offensive machine and whether the pieces they put around Geno will finally light up the scoreboard or break every heart in Vegas all over again. But before we jump into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Raiders and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 300 likes on this video. Nobody is really ready for what the Raiders' offense might unleash this year, and that's what makes it dangerous. Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly stacked the deck with fresh weapons, but they didn't just grab big names, they built a group that can slice up defenses from every angle. Ashton Jeanty is the rookie who could shock the league after the Raiders spent a top pick on him, while Raheem Mostert's speed can change the pace in a heartbeat. Then you add third-year tight end Michael Mayer, who is hungry to silence critics, alongside Brock Bowers stepping into year 2 with even more muscle. What nobody's talking about is how this receiver group could finally break loose. Trey Tucker looks ready to own the slot, while Jack Besh and Tommy Mellott are itching for reps behind Jacoby Myers, who still holds the crown as a trusted target. These names might not be flashy yet, but they fit Chip Kelly's blueprint, where speed, movement, and quick decisions make defenses pay in chunks. With so many new faces fighting to stand out, it's the perfect storm to spark one of the league's fastest rising offenses. But the real question is whether all these pieces can stay healthy and learn Kelly's tempo fast enough to stay ahead of defenses. Because with a fresh scheme comes fresh mistakes, and one mistimed route or a blown block could turn a highlight into a disaster. Next, we look straight at Geno Smith, the man expected to lead this cast of firepower and decide if he truly has the nerve to drive the ship when the lights burn hottest. Geno Smith might be carrying the heaviest burden in Las Vegas right now, because everything the Raiders built this offseason leans on him holding it together. He steps in with a resume of resilience, a powerful arm, and a drive to rewrite his legacy, but nobody can ignore the baggage of bouncing around teams and proving himself again and again. Raider Nation has lived through too many false hopes under center, and this time they expect a veteran who can command the room, make the right reads, and keep the offense steady when chaos hits. Geno's leadership will matter as much as his throws, and it will be tested from day one. Beyond Geno, there's another layer of security with Aiden O'Connell, who has shown he can handle a backup role without flinching, and Cam Miller, a rookie project with raw tools but a long road ahead. Together, they form a quarterback room far stronger than last season's patchwork. Chip Kelly's style demands a fearless passer, someone who trusts the scheme and never hesitates to pull the trigger. Geno has done that before, but this might be the most aggressive system he's ever run. What nobody can predict is how he'll handle the high-speed tempo once the bullets start flying. A brand new system means brand new pressure, and every drive will be a test of timing, chemistry, and nerve. For all the hype around the Raiders' new offense, their defense might still be the weak spot that derails everything. Losing Robert Spillane was a gut punch to the linebacker group, leaving a leadership hole that veterans like Jermaine Pratt and Elandon Roberts will scramble to fill. Up front, Christian Wilkins is battling to get back to form after a second surgery could threaten his consistency, and that leaves a shaky defensive tackle rotation in serious doubt. The scary part is, if the middle collapses, even Max Crosby's relentless effort might not save them. In the secondary, the questions only get louder. Nate Hobbs is gone, and nobody has fully stepped up to lock down that nickel role. Darnay Holmes and Thomas Harper are trying, but they aren't proven difference makers. Add in a free safety room missing Trayvon Moyrig and relying on Isaiah Pola-Mao, and the cracks look wide open for smart quarterbacks to attack. Fans should brace for growing pains, because Patrick Graham's scheme will demand these replacements step up instantly, or watch opposing offenses pick them apart. And with the schedule full of top-tier passers, there's no cushion for mistakes. Nobody had Dante Thornton Jr. circled on their bingo card for 2025, but ESPN dropped a shockwave by naming him the Raiders' biggest surprise pick. He's the rookie wide receiver with a rare combination of size and blazing speed, standing 6'5" while clocking a 40-yard dash in the 4.3 range. That athletic profile puts him in company with names like Calvin Johnson and DK Metcalf, which is no small praise. What nobody is saying loud enough is that Thornton is already taking first-team reps, proving he's more than a developmental piece. He's a real threat from day one. In Chip Kelly's spread-heavy offense, Dante's presence can stretch safeties deep and rip open lanes for Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and the running game. He isn't just a highlight chaser, he's becoming a critical chess piece who demands attention on every snap. If he polishes up his route tree beyond what Tennessee asked of him, defenses might panic. The biggest twist is that even if he only gets a few targets each week, his very existence changes how every defense lines up. That's the kind of invisible value you can't teach, and it could transform this Raiders attack into a nightmare to prepare for. Colton Miller and Jakobi Meyers are names the Raiders cannot afford to ignore, but somehow their future still hangs in the air. Miller has anchored the left side of the line for years, protecting quarterbacks through chaos, yet there's no final word on a new deal to lock him down. That's a risky game, because Miller is entering the final stretch of his current contract while holding every bit of leverage as a proven blindside shield. The Raiders are gambling that he stays motivated without a fresh extension, but that could backfire if negotiations get ugly mid-season. Jakobi Meyers is a different puzzle, but just as critical. Coming off a career year, he is the trusted veteran among a wideout group filled with youth. His chemistry with Geno Smith might be the glue holding this passing attack together, but the front office still hasn't sealed a long-term agreement. If they lose Meyers, those young receivers will be forced into roles they might not be ready for. The scary part is the timing. Every week the Raiders delay, the price tag could jump, especially if Meyers lights up defenses early or Miller dominates in pass protection. What nobody should doubt is that Pete Carroll and John Spytek still have time to patch up weaknesses if they act now. These next decisions might define the entire 2025 campaign. If they hesitate, rivals will not wait to exploit every gap. So tell me this, Raider Nation, what would be your first move if you ran this team right now? Drop your answer in the comments. Smash that subscribe button if you want real talk about your squad.